Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome to my combination review for Fall of Cybertron Blaster and of course War for Cybertron Soundwave. Now when I first heard about the Voyager size Soundwave that was coming out, I wasn't all that excited about it simply because I already had the War for Cybertron Soundwave and I was perfectly happy with him. But when I heard about the Fall of Cybertron Blaster that was coming, I thought that would be a great reuse of the mold, and I have to say that it is. Now, as you can see, Blaster is really just an upsized, slightly remolded version of Soundwave. I mean, that's pretty obvious by looking at these guys, and it's real obvious from all directions that these guys are incredibly similar. I mean, basically, like I said, the Voyager is just, in my opinion, a larger version of the Deluxe. I mean, their transformations are extremely similar. Their looks are similar. Everything about them is just really darn similar. I'll go ahead and just give you a full 360 here of Blaster. And let me go ahead and zoom in on his hubcaps here, because as you can see, his hubcaps are actually an Autobot symbol. I find that slightly neat. And he's a good looking mold. I have to say, I really like the coloration on him. Just a great looking mold. And of course, Soundwave is no slouch either. The only issue I have with this guy is a car, to me, doesn't really fit either one of these characters all that well. I mean, they're communications guys, so in my opinion they shouldn't transform into cars. I know they probably did that because it fits in better with a game, since these guys are based on video game characters. It probably wouldn't be very interesting to transform into a tape player, haha, or something of that ilk, but I just wish they had chosen something other than cars for these guys. There's not a lot to say about their vehicle modes. I mean, they both roll pretty well, and they're decent looking. And that's pretty much going to wrap up their vehicle modes. I will be back in a flash with kind of their unofficial boombox modes. Hey guys, here we have Blaster and Soundwave in their respective unofficial boombox modes. Now, I did not come up with these on my own. I actually saw these in a YouTube video. I don't know who the original person who came up with this is, so I can't properly give credit, but it was not me who came up with these. Now, I do remember seeing this mode actually for the first time when I played War for Cybertron on PC way back when it came out. In the ending credits, you get a new Stan Bush song where he sings about Transformers some, and the song seems to be playing at a Soundwave in this mode. So I think that's where the idea for it came from, but as far as who figured out how to do it on the toy, I'm not sure exactly who that was. And as you can see, the similarities continue on into this mode. Basically, you kind of half transform into vehicle mode, move their legs around, yada yada yada. Anyway, I just brought in their original G1 counterparts just for a little bit of fun, so you can see the size comparison with them. So I'm going to go ahead and scoot this Blaster here out of the way. And there we got Soundwave next to his G1 self. They're actually, in pretty good scale with each other. So I'll go ahead and get them out of the way. And there we've got the Fall of Cybertron Blaster and G1 Blaster. And again, honestly, the scale works pretty well. Almost like, they could be the same robot, before Earth and when they got to Earth. So that's actually pretty cool. I really like the fact that they scale pretty well with each other. Anyway, I'll be back to conclude this thing with robot mode. Hey guys, welcome to the conclusion, robot mode. Here I've got a couple of blasters and a couple of Soundwaves all in robot mode, just so you can get a good idea of their relative robot sizes. As you can see, the War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron Blaster are pretty significant size difference, but then again, so is G1 Soundwave and G1 Blaster. So I think this actually carries over very well. You know, I have no issue with Blaster being a much larger character than Soundwave, considering how it was on the original toys. And I feel they scale real well. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and move the G1 guys out of the way. And just focus in here on the more modern counterparts. I'll of course start off with Soundwave. He's got a pretty darn good articulation. He's got a foot pivot, side to side, bends at the knee. Doesn't rotate at the knee, but he rotates at the top of his leg, forward, back, in, out. Doesn't have any waist rotation, but he has a 360 at the shoulder, but you got to be careful of his wheels. They can kind of block you. He actually double bends at the elbow, which is pretty rare in a deluxe and Transformers in general, which is really cool. Rotates at the elbow, and he's got... And it just rotates there at the elbow. I guess he doesn't have a... I thought he had second rotation, but I guess he doesn't. And his head rotates. That's pretty much going to wrap up his articulation. Now, there's one really neat touch on this toy that I think is a great call out to the original G1 toy. He has battery storage where his, quote, tapes would normally go. I just think that's kind of a neat way for them to pay tribute to G1 Soundwave. You just pop him right out there. And he's got his lovely shoulder cannon there. It just pops into a hole on his shoulder. And of course he has his cannon that he typically held. And I just cut my fingernail, so just bear with me, folks. This is a little tough for me to... There we go. You got that little bad boy deployed. And there you have War for Cybertron Soundwave all armored up. I'll just give you a full 360 view of the guy. Great looking toy. I really, really like this toy a lot. And let me go ahead and put him off to the side. Now we'll focus in on Blaster here. And he has pretty much the same articulation that the War for Cybertron Soundwave had. Now, he doesn't have as much foot. It doesn't go side to side, but it goes forward and back. Bends at the knee. Rotates at the knee. Forward, back, in and out at the top of the leg. No waist rotation. 360 at the shoulder. His head rotates. Double jointed elbows. That's pretty much it. I mean, pretty much the same articulation. Now, he does have an additional feature, obviously, that the War for Cybertron Soundwave did not. Now, also, this is present on the larger Soundwave figure from the line as well. They come with these data discs. This is Steeljaw, and just for comparison, here's G1 Steeljaw. And they can fit in their chest compartments. Just pop it down like that, and you got to pull this plunger thing back. And I really don't care for this too much. It's kind of a it kind of, in my opinion, looks kind of silly when you push the push the plunger back. You can actually have up to 3, but to do that you have to have this plunger all the way out, and I just don't really like the way that looks. That really detracts from the look of the toy, but it's not like you have to have them this way. But you can press this button, and as you can see, there's Steeljaw ready to pop out. You press it in, and it goes flying, and it flew off the camera and hit the floor. But this is what he looks like when he pops out. He kind of auto transforms, but he doesn't transform all the way. I'll go ahead and just demonstrate that here so you can see what it looks like. Oh, maybe I can get him back. Alright, there he is. And basically, it just does that when he hits the ground. Because he's got this little switch here on the bottom that auto transforms him or whatever. So, but you gotta transform him a little more once you get him out of there. Gotta pull down his legs and pop out his tail, which I'm having a hard time with, of course. Oh. There we go. And there's Steeljaw. I don't really care for that very much. I'll probably display him in his data disk mode, because to me that's just not a very attractive robot mode. It's okay, but you know, whatever. Anyway, as far as other accessories he comes with, he of course comes with his rifle, which looks a lot like the G1 rifle. And just pops in his hand real easy. And let me go ahead and zoom in on his face, because I think they did an excellent job with the head sculpt on this guy. It's really good, I think, on Blaster. I really like the way his head is. I mean, it just looks absolutely great. Anyway, as far as should you pick this guy up, absolutely you should. If you like Blaster, and if you have the War for Cybertron Soundwave, I think he is a great counterpiece for Soundwave. I'm not sure exactly what Soundwave is going for on the secondary market, but of course you can get the Fall of Cybertron Soundwave, which of course is a lot closer to Blaster. I mean, it's basically the same mold, so it's the same size as Blaster, and he's definitely a good stand-in if you don't want to pay secondary market prices for Soundwave. And honestly, I wouldn't blame you if you didn't want to pay those prices, since they can be up there. Anyway, that's going to pretty much wrap this review up. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I will see you next time.